Welcome to Weird Science, where I talk about science that's a bit unusual.
Weird
Science.
A recent study used CT scans of Neanderthal skulls to determine the kind of hearing range that Neanderthals possessed. The goal was to determine whether their hearing range could correspond to the kind of range we'd expect for a species with a complex, developed language. The answer was a resounding yes. While we have no way of knowing exactly how Neanderthals spoke to each other, we've known for a while that their communication skills were more complex than initially thought. In fact, the more we've learned about Neanderthals, the more it has become clear that the caricaturish caveman image that we gave them throughout much of the 20th century could not be further from the truth. So, in the spirit of that progress, I thought it would be interesting to go over a few interesting and perhaps surprising facts about Neanderthals. First of all, Neanderthals were likely capable of creating art. Cave paintings found in Spain have been dated to approximately 66,000 years ago, which is around 20,000 years before modern humans first moved into Europe, suggesting that the artwork might have Neanderthal origins. These dates have been contested. However, Neanderthals were known to have collected objects such as crystals and fossils with no apparent functional purpose, and there is evidence that they may have used their skills with tools to create jewellery. Additionally, a bone fragment found in Slovenia dates back 43,000 years and appears to have been carved into a flute. This dating does overlap with the arrival of modern humans, so it's impossible to know the flute's origins for certain, if indeed it is a flute, but it has been proposed that this is evidence that Neanderthals produced some kind of music. Another fact you've probably heard in recent years is that Neanderthals and early humans interbred, which has resulted in all human populations outside sub-Saharan Africa sharing a portion of their genome with Neanderthals. Estimates differ, but the most commonly cited number says that we share between 1 and 4% of our DNA with Neanderthals. This finding has always struck me as particularly interesting, as it really does highlight how much we have in common with our distant cousins. Other similarities include complex emotions. Neanderthals have not only been shown to have buried their dead, but there is some evidence that they left gifts at the graves also. Child graves in particular have been found to have been adorned with ornaments carved from animal bones and flint, and pollen found in one grave has been suggested to be evidence that Neanderthals may have engaged in the very human practice of leaving flowers on graves. It's unknown if there was some kind of practical purpose to this, or if these burial traditions carried some sort of symbolism, and if so, what the implications of that might be. Some have suggested that these findings are evidence of some kind of early religion among Neanderthals, while others believe that Neanderthals had not developed anything as complex as religion. As with many things on this show, we will never really know. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Weird Science. If you liked it, like it, and if you enjoy all things weird and creepy, check out the rest of the channel and consider subscribing. You can also find Zoinks on your podcast app of choice if you're one of those people. Anyway, that's it.